Hey everybody, welcome back to ChortleCast. I'm Jake, and alongside me this week, Steven, the Stream King, the Far Cry guy, the man on the mission to beat Final Fantasy 15. Say hey, Steven.
We added another nickname, though. Do you remember the other nickname? This is my main nickname now.
Trash Wizard?
Trash Wizard?
I don't know. That's what your warlock is normally.
No one has ever called me Trash Wizard. But I'm glad to know that you think I'm a trash wizard.
Well, you know, Steven, I'm just, that's what we say a lot when we're playing Destiny, because we're wearing a lot of trash outfits right now, because we're still leveling. Okay. So.
It's the Deadpan Man.
It's what? Deadpan Man, that's right, because that's from Phantom Doctrine.
Phantom Doctrine.
There's a little live stream that you do every Thursday. People could have seen last night if they watched it live. But you can watch it now on ChortleGames.com. But that's not what we're here to talk about. In a way, but this is ChortleCast. If you didn't already know, this is our official podcast that we do every week here on Chortle Games. It's something you can be a part of. You can write into us at chortlecast@gmail.com with your questions, topics you'd like to hear us talk about. You can also hit us up in our Discord. We have a special channel for podcast questions. You can find the link to the Discord in the description of this video or on the banner of our channel on youtube.com/c/ChortleGames, or easier, just ChortleGames.com. That's so much easier. I don't know why I said that. I don't know why I jumped to anything else. But anyway, we here every week on Friday, 12 o'clock Central Time, we talk about video games, TV shows, movies, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about. It's usually me and Steven. Sometimes we can get Brody and Miles on here. Not very often. But yeah, so we got a great show for you this week. We're going to be talking about those Xbox games with gold games that you get for free for having Xbox games with gold. We're going to talk about some of the PlayStation Plus games that you get for that service. We're going to talk about Fortnite. We're going to talk about Dark Phoenix. We're going to talk about a new Pokemon, just straight up a new Pokemon. That's cool. And yeah, that's going to be our show today. Oh, and what is it, Steven?
Absolver.
It's Absolver. I wanted to say Ascendant, but that's not right. That's a Destiny thing. I've been absorbed with Destiny.
Too much Destiny.
And on that note, let's start with what we always start on this show, Catch Up, where we talk about what we've been playing this week or watching, whatever's most relevant.
Yes. So, Spider-Man did an amazing thing, Jake.
Yes.
It got me to play single-player games again.
Right.
And I don't know what caused me to go here, but one night I've been having a lot of trouble sleeping lately.
Right.
I don't know why. You can probably see it. I look tired all the time. I sound tired. I feel tired. But one of those nights when I was just laying in bed, I just had a thought where I was like, I never gave Final Fantasy 15 a good chance.
I never gave Final Fantasy a good shit. I never gave it a good shit.
When you're laying in bed and you can't sleep, like you go to places in your head, and for whatever reason, that's where my head went.
Right.
And because I'd played it before.
Right.
I'd played it up through the first chapter, I think, and then I stopped. But it wasn't because I was like, "Oh, this game's bad."
Right.
It was, I kind of threw my hands in the air and was like, "There's a lot of game here.
There's
I don't know if I can."
So much game, and if you thought there was game, too much game at the beginning, it's only quadrupled in size since then. But I forget how far I got. I didn't get very far. I don't even know if I got through the first chapter when I played. But anyway, sorry, continue.
Yeah, you're good. When I tried it the first time, I think I was still working at the TV station, and so time was so much more precious than it is now.
Right.
Time is still precious, but back then it was like I finish my days at 2, and then I have to be in bed by 9.
Uh-huh.
So it sucked. So I didn't have time for single-player games. Right. So I was playing a game, I was playing with somebody else. But now I revisited it, and it is so freaking good. Oh my gosh. It is the first mainline Final Fantasy game I have played from the beginning since like 3.
Wow.
Because I played a little bit of 7.
Right.
Played a little bit of, is 8 or 9 that has Squall in it? The guy with the gunblade. I can't remember. I think it's 8.
I don't know. I'm not as familiar with Final Fantasy. I know Final Fantasy through Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I was gonna say you'd know him as Leon.
Yeah, that's the extent of my Final Fantasy knowledge. 15 was the first Final Fantasy. Maybe not the first Final Fantasy that I played, but it's the first one that I ever really gave a half shot, and like bought and played. But I never got very far.
Yeah. So I loved the tactics games. And I might have to give 12 a shot when it comes to Switch or PS4, whichever one it's coming to. I can't remember.
I guess it's coming to all of them now.
Because that it might be. That takes place in the universe of Tactics Advanced and Advanced 2, Ivalice?
Sure.
Ivalice?
Sure.
One of the two, yeah. But not important. So this game, I love the mixture of magic in modern and postmodern settings. That's one of the coolest things to me. Like, guy with guns that can also cast spells is super boss to me.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. I've always thought that was like the coolest thing ever.
Absolutely.
So the Final Fantasy, this game, of course, takes place in a modern / postmodern setting. Depends on where you look. And there's magic everywhere, which is great.
And chocobos. And normally when you think, forget about chocobos.
And chocobos. Oh, we're getting to chocobos. We're getting there. Trust me. But when you think of Final Fantasy, or at least when I do, you think of, grand epic stories with a large cast of characters. You meet them along the way, but it's really centered on one guy.
Right.
This game, right from the beginning, the most impactful moment in this entire game, and it's hilarious to me, is the very beginning. When Gladio is, trying to hitchhike and your car is on the side of the road. There's just this moment when it first hands you gameplay. All you're doing is holding down R2 to push the car.
Yeah.
And a song called Stand By Me by Florence and the Machine, which I thought was really funny because it's a Japanese game and Florence and the Machine is there for whatever reason. But that starts playing while you and your 3 friends are pushing the car. And it was just this moment where it was like, this is the heart of the story. And I could tell where you've just got these 4 guys that are all talking amongst themselves, doing this menial task of pushing a car because they like ran out of gas or whatever it was. And you get to know them immediately in that first section. And you understand that the point of this game, the central theme of this game is not good versus evil. It's the bond of friendship. These guys always have your back. You have their back. And I loved that just being front and center. Because unlike other Final Fantasy games that I've played, you don't gather your party over time. They are there with you from the beginning. You grow together. You work together. And it's just so cool to see that.
Right.
And for whatever reason, that resonated with me. And that's what kind of... When I played that again, I was like, okay, I get it. I 100% get it. Let's do this. Let's play some Final Fantasy. And it only got better from there.
Yeah.
The story is epic and grand. The characters are great. The action's awesome. The chocobos are so fun. When I got to chocobos, that's when the game really clicked for me. It was like, okay, I finally got out of Arizona. Now I can ride chocobos.
Now I can ride chocobos. Yeah, I remember I at least got far enough that I could unlock the chocobos.
So you got to probably chapter 2 or 3 then.
Yeah. What I remember doing before I kind of was like, I don't know that I'm going to come back to this game anytime soon. I was like running around some dungeons. I found myself in a dungeon.
Collecting weapons?
Yeah, maybe. But I was like way underpowered.
Yep.
And I can't remember. I can't remember. I feel like I would really enjoy it. And I've said for the longest time, what is it, the Royal Edition or the...
Royal Edition.
Yeah. That has all the DLC that's come out.
That's what I got.
Yeah.
And I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, and you can get it for a pretty... I mean, that's almost what... At a full game price.
It's 50.
It's 50, yeah, so not even a full game price. That's a steal for sure.
So what's great about that is that it not only comes with the little weapon DLC, so you have some good weapons to start with, but also it comes with the character DLCs.
Right.
And I had to look up when to play them. Gladio is the big strong bodyguard of the group. I just got to a part in the story where he was like, hey, I need to go for a while, but I'll be back before too long. His episode tells the story of where he went. And so I looked that up, and as soon as I did the first half of that chapter, it's chapter 7, I went to play Gladio's episode.
Right.
And it was just this cool story of him going through a trial to become stronger. And it fills that gap of the story. And when he comes back in the game, it's like, oh, this is really cool. I now have the significance of that. He has this new scar on his head, and all he says in the main story is, you should see the other guy. And this DLC is the story of what happened. And it was really neat. And there are episodes for each individual character. And you get those with the Royal Edition. But also with the Royal Edition, you get Comrades, which is the co-op mode.
Co-op, yeah.
And I haven't touched it because the game is like, whoa, partner, you want to beat the game before you play this because of story spoilers. And I'm like, fine. I really want to try it just to see what it's like, but I'm invested in the story, so I actually care about getting the full experience. Like, I just texted you guys right before recording this. I did the Leviathan part in chapter 9 or 10.
Right.
And it was like, oh boy, it was a boss fight. It was awesome. But I hate that I'm so late to the party with this. I feel like that's something I do a lot, is I'm really late to the party with a lot of games, especially single player games. But man, it's so good. It has gotten me back into single player RPGs.
Right.
And it's just, everything hits the right notes with me.
Yeah.
And it even got me thinking before we move on. I was like, there are 4 of them. There are 4 of us. Which
do you want
member?
Do you want somebody to do an art of us as the Final Fantasy boys?
I do now. But I also am curious, for those of you that have played Final Fantasy 15, which character do you think we each are? Like, because we without overlapping. So only one person can be Noctis, one Ignis, one Prompto, one Gladio, but which one of us is which?
Now, I want to play along with this because I think I can do this pretty well. I would say you're Ignis.
I think so.
Miles has got to be
Prompto.
Yeah, the little dick who
he's the
shoots
easiest.
pistols and he takes
The little
photos.
dick.
That guy, that kid.
Yeah, that's the little dick that shoots
That's
the gun.
Miles.
Yep.
I don't want to be like, oh, I'm Noctis, but like I think that's the only thing that I would fit into, but I don't even think that really is a good fit. And then Brody's probably Gladius. I guess that's where we leave. Or Brody could be Noctis and I could be Gladius. I really think either way that could flip around.
See, my default was you Noctis, Brody Gladio, because Noctis is the one that tells people what to do.
And Jake's bossy
Brody,
as hell.
Brody seems like a Gladio, like just in the way he plays games. So I was like, sure, that's good enough. He is
always our Titan.
And to me, it was like, when I first played the game, I was like, Ignis just seems like a douche. But the more I played it, I'm like, I really like this character.
Yeah.
And the more I was like, yeah, I would definitely be Ignis.
Well, they say that the traits you hate most in other people are the traits you really hate about yourself.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
So whenever I find somebody that I really hate, I'm just like, crap, is this because I do this and it's a problem? But anyway, well, that's cool. Yeah, I need to get back into Final Fantasy 15. It's one of those things that I've kind of said, once I hit a drought, I want to revisit. And just the drought has not come yet. So, but I'm glad to hear that you're having fun with it.
Once you get it, let's do some comrades. I would love to stream that.
Definitely want to do some comrades with it. So
yeah.
I may even go ahead and pick it up and just to have it and see if I can maybe get through it. I got to get through Spider-Man first, though. I haven't even beat Spider-Man yet because this stupid game called Destiny, Steven, maybe you've heard of it, it's taking up all my frickin' brain power right now. I'm about to travel to Detroit and I'm trying to figure out a safe way to bring my PlayStation because I can't freaking stop. It's too good. I like it, and but I like it in a frustrating way. But
yeah.
Anyway, what were you gonna say?
Here's how you break the curse. You start playing another game that you like. That way, because with me, that's what Final Fantasy was for me. Because Destiny was taking all of my time, and it was frustrating. And we'll talk about why that is in a second. But then I just got the itch to play Final Fantasy. And now it's like,
heck yeah,
I don't feel the need to constantly play Destiny when I'm by myself. But I understand that when there are other people, it's like, okay, cool,
yeah,
Destiny time.
Well, for me right now, it's all just because I'm trying to get to a level, and I'm trying to get exotics. And I know we're gonna have this conversation, but
oh yeah, we are.
It is frustrating how little we've gotten for as much as we've played so far.
Yep.
I do want to. So Forsaken's dropped. We've played it a long time. So I kind of wanted us to kind of revisit our thoughts now that we've had it for almost a month. I guess, is it still September? It's still September. Yeah, almost a month.
It'll be a month and Tuesday. I think.
We've been playing it a lot. I mean, we were playing Destiny a lot to begin with, but we really have been diving in since Forsaken. There's a couple changes that they've made, updates that we'll talk about. We talked about Master Cores, I think, and how frustrating that is, if not on the podcast, on the live streams. There's a rumor, there's talk that they're going to change that.
Yep.
But Steven, you could talk more about some of that other update stuff. But I do like that. I feel like there's so much more for me to do from like a weeklies standpoint. The last time when we got the base game and we were all still playing, we hit a point where you guys kind of fell off, but I was still trudging along because I loved the game. And I got into this zone, which I'm starting to get into now because you guys are starting to kind of wane a little bit on it, where I'd log in and I'd focus on my weeklies and I'd try to do as many as I could alone and really try to save up the big ones that I need help on for times that I knew I was going to be playing with you guys. So I found myself doing this last night and really some of this week, just really trying to knock out weeklies. And, you know, I played a lot Tuesday night, or maybe it was Monday night. Monday night, played a lot. Tuesday night, of course, we streamed Destiny. Played a lot then. And then last night, because I was on a shoot and I brought my PlayStation with me to play at night, I played a lot there. So I've played probably more Destiny this week than I have maybe any other week recently since Forsaken. And I still have so many weeklies to do. I'm real close to be having Ikoras, which is just do bounties. I'm not as close as I'd like to be to getting Hawthorns done, which is the clan XP. I've done the heroic story missions. I've done the 2 dailies for Gambit and Crucible. I've done the Flashpoint. I've done the heroic adventure. And I spent a large chunk of time Tuesday night during stream with you guys, and then last night by myself and with a few other people that I met, playing in the Dreaming City, trying to get the one weekly powerful Ingram, which I've been told by YouTube people, which, you know, you can always trust YouTube people. I've been told by them that that's the most important weekly to get. If you only have time for one, spend all of your time doing that one, because it's going to have the most level to give you. Anyway, worked a lot on that last night. So I've spent 2 nights, probably close to 8 hours total playing. I'm only... Let me back that up. Maybe closer to 6 hours because I did spend some time last night doing some other things. But probably close to 6 hours in the Dreaming City trying to get the one weekly Prime Ingram, which is to complete 2 weekly bounties. The first weekly bounty is the Ascendant Challenge, which Steven loves. And this...
I'm shaking my head right now.
What that is you have to do a mission in the Ascendant Plane, which is this Taken Dark Realm, It's a different challenge every week. The frustrating thing about it is a clan or a fire team could do that together, but whoever gets the final hit is the one that gets the credit for the bounty. And you have to use a consumable to even do this mission. And basically, you're going to have to...
consumable has not dropped for me once.
I know, that's so crazy. Because I had like 4.
I had to buy it.
I'm going to have to buy one tonight when we play. But anyway, regardless, basically you have to do it 3 times. And inevitably, everyone's going to have to spend probably 2, maybe 3 of these consumables to do them. And as Steven said, it's not exactly easy to come by. But regardless... tried doing that last night by myself. The one this week is pretty interesting. You have to stop a hive ritual. I won't get into all of what it is, but it's pretty challenging. You definitely need a team to do it. But I spent a lot of time trying to do that. The next weekly challenge is to play the blind well. For those of you that aren't aware, the blind well is basically like a horde mode. You have to kill a certain percentage of enemies to progress to the next step. There's, I think, 4 steps, and then you have a boss. And it's a fun mode to play because there's a lot happening with your super. There's these glowing enemies that if you kill them, they'll drop a ball of light that will allow you to kill a larger glowing enemy who's surrounded by a shield. But if none of those are available, or really, I guess, any time you touch one of those balls of light that gives you that ability, it also charges your super a lot faster. So if you have that running constantly, you're getting your super left and right and are popping off whatever. I think there's 4 tiers. There's like a mysterious 4th tier that I really don't even know how that works, but I tried running the very lowest tier by myself Thursday and was having no luck. I was getting to like the 95 percentile with 10 seconds left, and I was never able to get past that. So I eventually ended up looking on. I saw that Brody and Steven were both online, but I didn't want to bother them, and I couldn't use a mic because I was in a hotel room with some other people. So I actually reached out to someone else that I knew, and I didn't have a mic. But I got them to just come to the blind well, and they played a couple rounds with me. I got that bounty, so that bounty's done. But that's 1/2, and it took me so long, and I needed someone else to play with me to get it done. And so, I don't know, Steven, I want you to kind of go through what's been bothering you recently with it.
So after all of the effort that you put in this week, what's your light level compared to what it was before?
So actually last night I grew my light level a lot. I started at level 529 and I'm now 537. I've got 2 level 540 pieces of gear on my person, and I suspect by tonight I'll be past 540. So I'm starting to break into a better space. I've been watching a lot of videos recently about leveling and whatnot and how powerful Ingrams work. Once you get past 540 and you're closer to like, once you're past 540, you're kind of on the road to 600. And at that point, unless you're getting power or prime Ingrams that you just pick up randomly, exotics and basically just the top tier, like most effort prime Ingrams are the only ones that are really going to push you up. From once you hit level 540, you really have to be doing those that are going to take a lot more time to push your level up. Right. Stuff like the flashpoint, you may be getting stuff at level. You won't be getting stuff that are +1. Or in the case of the Dreaming City, right now for me, it should be like a +5 or a +6 or something, like should really push my light level up. But anyway, that's the 2 540 pieces I got from Dreaming City stuff. So
here's my frustration. We have not found but one exotic That's year 2.
Right. And that's your wolf shotgun, right?
Lord of Wolves. Lord of Wolves, and the only reason it dropped for us was because we were doing an activity that it's specifically supposed to drop. And we've put in all this effort. We've done all of the powerful gear stuff. The game is bugged from a lot of angles right now. There's the Edge Transit curse, which is where this grenade launcher called Edge Transit keeps dropping
for everything.
an obscene amount for everything. So if you do a really hard weekly challenge, you have a higher chance of getting Edge Transit, and it's not even a high light level Edge Transit. There's there are reset bugs where things don't always reset for me. So it's like the challenges that I'm supposed to have available don't always become available when they're supposed to.
Right.
There's just all this effort being put in, and it keeps pushing me towards the Dreaming City. It's like, go to the Dreaming City, do the Dreaming City. But there's this impasse where it keeps saying, oh, if you want to get up to light level 540, you got to go to the Dreaming City. Everything in the Dreaming City that's worth doing is level 540 plus. So you are throwing yourself at the Dreaming City trying to get stuff, and you're dying more than you're doing anything. And even if you do get stuff, you have a high chance of getting Edge Transit. And to level yourself up, you need to be able to get an assortment of gear.
Right.
So you have to get through the threshold of being below level. Then you have to get through that the following threshold of, will it drop Edge Transit? And if you get through that threshold, it's like, okay, what piece of gear am I going to get?
Right.
And then there's just layers upon layers of what ifs. And there's no guarantee for anything in this game. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy the game a lot. I do really like the game. I'm not waning on it. As you said that I was. I'm
sorry, I didn't mean to impose on that then.
No, it's fine. I just wanted to clarify for everybody here and for you. I'm not waning on the game. I'm just not playing it solo as much.
Right. Well, I do want to mention, so like you said, we've gotten one exotic from year 2. Technically, you've gotten 2 because you've done Ace. But
yeah,
what I'm noticing is that there are more exotic quests than we may realize, and I wonder if a lot of these exotics are going to all fall under some type of quest. Because Ace of Spades was a big one. That's a quest. There's some kind of shotgun that you can get from a quest right now. What is that? Chaperone,
Ace of Spades, Malfeasance, and Wishender.
Malfeasance and Wishender, those both, their quest dropped this week, and it's kind of a secret thing. You have to know where to go. The crazy thing, though, is their mission. Not only is it complicated, I've watched some videos on it. It's complicated, but also its power level is 590, which for me, somebody who's just trying to get some exotics right now, there is no feasible way for me to do that.
So most of the weapons are quest items. But I'm not even referring to the weapons.
Right. It's gear too. We're not getting anything.
Like, I'm not getting any armor, and it's frustrating for me specifically because I've played a lot with you, Jeremy, and Brody. You guys have gotten exotic drops. Like, you guys will be just playing Gambit, and then an enemy drops an exotic Ingram.
Yep.
That has never happened to me.
Right.
In the vast amount of time I've played, all things considered, I've probably put in more playtime than all of you.
Right.
Just minute for minute. I've not gotten a single exotic Ingram drop for me. I keep getting screwed over on the drop rates. RNGesus is not blessing me in this game. Eververse is in my corner, but great. That's
oh my gosh,
Eververse.
Crap. I don't know what they did to Eververse, but Eververse is perfect right now. I am getting 2 bright Ingrams every night I play. and that's more than I could ever ask for. They've added the bounties to Eververse, which when you do a bounty, you get bright dust. So I have I have a comfortable amount of bright dust, so that when something pops in the store, I feel comfortable about buying it. This week, the chicken emote came.
Yep.
Bought that one, and there was a ornament for Crimson, which I never really liked, the red bloody splatter on Crimson, so I bought that too. But I still have almost 2,000 bright left, which if something crazy drops next week, I'm not going to have enough to get it unless I really push my butt or something. But Eververse is great right now. But you're right. Yeah, I've gotten probably 3 or 4 exotic drops, but they've all been year 1 exotics.
But they're still dropping.
Yeah, you're right. That's weird, and I don't understand why that's happening for you.
I feel like I'm cursed because I'm not getting any drop rate for anything. I got Edge Transit 9 times in about 6 hours of gameplay.
Right. Crazy.
I say it was over a 24-hour period, but I only played the game for like 6 hours.
Right. Yeah.
There's just the frustrating thing for me is that they wanted to add longevity back to Destiny 2, which is fine. That's fine, but don't hide behind the longevity.
Right.
To be like, the only reason people are going to play our game is to get the gear. If you don't have faith in your game that we're going to keep playing it, even once we've gotten the gear we want, that's a bad sign.
Yeah.
Have some faith in the game you've put forward and understand that once I get the gear, I'm going to want to play with the gear and actually do the challenges and stuff.
That's my frustration right now, is that I haven't put in a lot of brain power, but like I've watched videos about, how Trinity Ghoul works and how it works with the exotic ornament that lets you hold your bow charge for however long and stuff. Yeah. I've watched people who have played with both connected and listened to reviews and stuff, and I've put a lot of thought into like what exotics I'm keeping and what I'm using. Trinity Ghoul is a duh because I love the bows in this game, and that's arguably the best bow for PvE, which is what we mostly do. So I've known I wanted that for the longest time, and now I'm just trying to figure out what exotic armor piece I'm going to use. And let's be honest, I'm just going to keep the Stompies on all the time anyway. But regardless of all that, if I get Trinity Ghoul at the end of the raid, let's say I've put in that much effort, I'm power level 600 or whatever, I'm at the end of the road, and I get Trinity Ghoul, like, what's that going to do for me? Then I'm done. Like, then I have nothing else to play, and I've just now gotten the weapon I wanted. That's stupid. That's horrible. Yep. There should have been a way, or I should have. The year 1 exotics should be dramatically dropped in drop rate at this point, and it's just frustrating.
Well, and it feels like we're being punished for
playing the
wanting,
game and wanting,
for playing the game and for wanting. And what was I saying?
Something about punishment.
Sorry.
You're the Punisher.
I feel like I am the tormented. But Division is my go-to for how to do Division and Diablo. They are in kind of in the same vein of each other. In Division, it's very rewarding with what it drops. You never feel like you're wasting your time or getting screwed over with drop rates.
Right.
You can share your drops with anyone that's present in your team within an hour of finding it, I think.
Oh, wow.
Something like that. So you can trade.
Right.
It's limited, but it still exists. And then if you get the item that you want, but it doesn't have the stats you want, you can do limited rerolls on the stats.
Yep. Yeah.
Why can't that be Destiny? Why can't it be that? Because I'm aiming for Phoenix Protocol.
Right.
That's my exotic that I want. It's for the Well of Radiance. It's amazing. That's what everyone says. When I get that chess piece, I just know that I'm gonna get the worst roll on it. I'm gonna get linear fusion rifles and shotguns,
Right.
which I don't use shotguns really anymore. And so now I'm going to have to keep grinding to get the one that I want.
Right.
Because random rolls are this thing that everybody wanted so badly. And so my thing is, do one or the other. Either make random rolls a thing and make it to where we want to constantly look for the god roll item that we want, or make exotics a lot more rare. Do not do both, because then it's like we pay this money to play this game and to get this content and everything, but it's like with the way I've played, I've been putting time and effort, and there's no promise of return.
Right.
And I have no reason to think that anything that I'm doing is going to get me the gear that I want.
Right.
And it adds insult to injury that the game has so many bugs and so many things that need balancing right now, and they're not doing anything about it.
Yeah,
As far as I know, Edge Transit's
issue especially, that's crazy
Yeah.
that has not been adjusted or fixed yet. We've had at
Edge
least one or
Transit.
two hot fixes since
Yeah,
since
and
they've
then
publicly announced that they know that it's an issue.
And Sleeper Stimulant is still OP.
Yeah,
Playing Gambit is still a pain. There's so many problems that don't seem like they'd be that hard to fix, especially Edge Transit's drop rate. That's code. You just write code, you fix it, and then be done with it.
right.
So it's like, it kind of feels like they took my money and ran. In a manner of speaking. And so, I don't know. I still enjoy the game. I still play it. Love playing it with friends, and I like that there's more to do. But
We got to start seeing reward.
we got to start seeing a reward. Otherwise, it's just it feels like we've been conned, because it's like, oh yeah, Destiny has so much more to do, and the only reason for that is because we never give you things anymore.
Right.
Because we played year one, and so it's like we've taken steps backwards because we've had it the way it was in year one, and now it's like I'm putting in more effort than I was in year one, and I'm getting less reward by a large margin than I was in year one.
Yeah.
And so it's staggering.
It needs some work.
It does.
Well, that's good. We could talk about Destiny all day long, but we will move on to some news.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we've got a little bit of news this week, kind of a slower week, but I always love when we hear what the next month's free games are going to be from Xbox and PlayStation. And maybe one day Nintendo will be in this list as well with their specials that they hinted at in their online service. But anyway, we'll start with you Xbox losers. October Xbox games with gold. You guys are going to get to play Hitman Blood Money, Overcooked, Victor Vran, and
Victor Vran, nice.
Stuntman Ignition. So, Hitman, obviously, Hitman games are pretty fun. Overcooked is an amazing game that everyone should have to play with their friends when they come over. Victor Vran, what is that, Steven? I don't. You giggled or something, but
It's a top-down co-op hack and slash, kind of like Diablo, but it's more Van Helsing kind of.
Okay. So werewolves and vampires and.
I think you're like a monster hunter of some kind.
Yep.
It looked fun. I never played it, but I wanted to.
And Stuntman Ignition sounds like you're a stuntman getting lit on fire. So that's my prediction for what that game is. Go get it on Xbox Games with Gold and tell me if I'm wrong. And then PlayStation Plus for October, you're getting Friday the 13th and Laser League. Those are the two PS4 games. And then you're also getting The Bridge, Rocket Birds 2 Evolution, and 2064 Read Only Memories. And then the PlayStation 3 game is Master Reboot for the PlayStation. And just a PSA, if you don't have the PlayLink game Knowledge is Power or the VR bonus game Here They Lie, which is one of our Halloween episodes coming up next month, those are both... Here We Lie is available until October 2nd, and Knowledge is Power is available until November 6th, so be sure to grab those little bonuses as well. But let's talk about these headliner games, Steven. So Friday the 13th, Brody, when he texted us this, he was like, great, thanks for the dead game.
That's my thought,
how
too.
How do we think this is going to go for people? Is this going to kind of reignite, obviously not any more development for the game unless something really crazy happens.
Well,
But do you think more people will be jumping back in to play this?
I think people will be jumping back in to play it just because, it's a spooky game, October,
Right.
all that jazz. Which I have a dual sentiment towards Thanks for the Dead game.
Right.
On one hand, it's like, yes, it doesn't get any support anymore. It doesn't get any DLC anymore. But on the other hand, it's like, when did we start needing that? When was the game that we got not enough of an experience to where we were just thankful for it, played it, had our fun, and then left?
Right.
Because it feels like every game now needs updates or it's a bad game. I'm much more in the school of thinking that a game should have all of its stuff. I'm okay with DLC, but Far Cry 5 is a good example of this. And this won't be a long rant, I promise. I just had this singular thought. Far Cry 5 over time released more guns after the game came out. As a showing of, we've got regular content updates. And I'm like, okay, but I sure would have liked those guns when I actually played the story.
Right.
Because by now I'm done with it.
Absolutely.
So I'm much more in the preference of getting a full game, not getting a game that needs constant love to be considered a game.
Right.
Either way,
Yeah.
zeroing back in, I'm not going to play Friday the 13th.
Well, I was about to say, there's a reason I don't have it right now. So I am glad that it is a free game because I'm definitely going to get it. I do want us to try and maybe stream it sometime over October.
Right.
But that said, I don't know why. I always thought it was funny. I thought it was funny when Brody texted that because like you said, does a game really have to have constant updates to be alive and to be well? And I guess in today's age, that's a huge important part. But I feel like the people who had this game, or now everyone's going to have this game, I feel like people are still going to give it a try. And if they like it, they'll stick with it. And if they don't, they'll move on to something else.
Right.
And even, the healthiest thing of all is play it a little bit, go do something else, come back later when you want. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens with this. I hope we can actually play it like that. It's not so dead that we can't play it at all. Let's talk about Laser League. I was actually surprised at how interesting that game looked.
Okay.
It's supposed to be this futuristic sports game that I don't even know. It looks like it's like top down. There's these lasers going, and it's almost like you're four people, and you have to be in a position that you don't get hit by the lasers, but the lasers are going to like change position. It looked very interesting. I think it would make for a great Let's Play or even maybe a live stream if there's enough there to go on for a long time. But it looks like an interesting pickup, and that's what I always like about PlayStation Plus free games or any of these free games is when it's something that's going to be a good game, but you may not have looked at it until it was given to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's usually some gems that have come out of it of stuff that I was always interested in, but not interested in enough to pay, however much. So to get it free and actually play it, I think that would be cool. So I'm excited to see what that one's going to be all about. But yeah, kind of a lousy lineup compared to last month where it was, hey, here's Destiny 2 and or Destiny. Was it? No, it was Destiny 2, wasn't it? It was the base game of Destiny 2.
Yep.
Still crazy how big of a drop that was. But anyway, speaking of crazy drops, Pokemon Go over the past couple weeks has had this mysterious Pokemon popping up everywhere. My original understanding of it was that people couldn't catch it, but now it seems that people were able to catch it, but it turned out to be a Ditto. Or I guess the Pokemon Company released a trailer today, or not today, but this week, and it was really kind of cute. It was Professor Oak in the style of Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, with, I think his name's Professor Willow, who's the kind of lead professor in Pokemon Go. And they're having this conversation, and he's like, "Hey, did you see that Pokemon I sent you? Ditto. All the Dittos we're finding right now look like this Pokemon. What do you think of this, Professor?" And he's like, "Oh, that looks like a Pokemon from an ancient text. He's some kind of mythical Pokemon named Meltang." And anywho, they have this little cute little bit, and basically it's like, maybe we'll find out more later or something like that. So we've known for a while that there was going to be a new Pokemon in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, because right now it's just going to be Gen 1 stuff. But they did say there's going to be one new Pokemon. So it seems to be that Meltang is going to be this new Pokemon. I'm really curious to see what's going to make him worth being the one new thing we get. But anyway, he's a steel type.
Based on the picture I saw, he did not look too special.
Yeah, he doesn't look special, okay? He's basically a hex nut that's on top of a glob of, they call it metal liquid, and then he looks like he's got a little spark plug poking out his backside like a tail. He's a steel type. They mention a couple moves, like he can do some electric moves. He fires attacks from his eye and that sort of stuff. I'm really curious to see what he's going to be about, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. But anyway, if you're a Pokemon fan, that's some exciting news. Steven, what do you think about that? You're planning on when you get your Switch, you're planning on getting Let's Go.
Heck
you?
yes.
Yeah. What do you think of this?
I think it's a. Oh, God.
Wow, that's some real deep
that's what I
thoughts
think.
there.
I think I'm gonna take a sip of water before I start breathing fire again.
Don't stop dropping fire on my podcast.
I think it's cool that they're not just letting Let's Go be a remaster, that they're adding to the world. I think that's neat.
They're definitely experimenting with a couple things. They're bringing back fan favorite elements from some of the other games, like having the partner Pokemon, having the Pokemon that follows you around, being able to ride the larger Pokemon.
Yeah. I think they could have made the new Pokemon look more interesting and less lame.
I think he looks interesting. I just want to know what he's going to do that's going to make him the one Pokemon they chose to reveal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if he's the legendary that's going to be in, say, whatever, Gen 8 in the next Pokemon RPG, if he's going to be like maybe the baby version of the legendary or something, that would maybe be a nice tie-in.
Yeah, that's my thing. I think he looks fine for a Pokemon, but not necessarily for a legendary Pokemon.
Right, exactly. So I'm real curious to see where that goes and what they do with that. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about a game Steven loves, Fortnite. Fortnite, of course, one of the biggest games going on right now. When it came to the Switch, a whole debacle started because fans who already had an Epic account or a Fortnite account through PlayStation had to create a whole new account to play on Switch because there was no cross progression like there was with PS4 and mobile and PS4 and PC. And then, of course, PlayStation has always been against cross-play. And even just a few weeks ago, I remember we had a story on the podcast that we were talking about how PlayStation has yet again come out and said, I mean, they've had 3 or 4 statements on this, that they are gung-ho, not going to do cross-play, screaming that, why, PlayStation is the best place to play. Why would you want to play anywhere else? Yada, 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 yada. All this stuff. This has been going on since E3. Finally, this week, for God knows why, but thank God for it, Sony has launched a cross-play beta that allows for cross-play, but for me personally, more importantly, cross-progression with your Epic account. So now, PlayStation 4, Android, iOS, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, Microsoft Windows, Mac operating systems, all systems can play Fortnite together and do crossplay, which is crazy. Fortnite is so big, Steven, it bullied Sony into doing crossplay, something I never thought would happen.
No.
And this is still a beta, so this could all be pulled out from under us in a few months. But I don't suspect it's going to do that because I'm pretty sure it's going to be successful. I'm blown away. But that, we talk about how big Fortnite is, but the fact that they could bully Sony into doing something is crazy.
Fortnite didn't do it. The people did.
Well, I know, but the people did it because of Fortnite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I know Epic didn't call up Sony and say, "Hey, listen here, punk, you better do that crossplay." But
it's a part of my righteous crusade to make sure that everybody understands that Fortnite is not inherently good. Fortnite is what the people have made.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying
I know
that's a force. To change a long time corporate policy on a dime is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm real surprised. But I want to talk about, Steven, what do you think this is going to mean for cross-play across the board for PlayStation? Right now, this is just with Fortnite. Where do you think are they going to see success here and maybe push it out to everything else? Or do you think they're going to say, this is just for Fortnite because people are dumb, or whatever? What do you think Sony's going to go from here?
Well, looking at it from a strategic standpoint, I think it was a dumb move, personally. But at the same time, you have to consider the fact, on the other hand, that Sony has a lock on exclusives.
Right.
When you look at the battle being specifically PlayStation versus Xbox, because that's where most of the AAA games go, Switch is picking up the pace, but you consider games like Red Dead.
Right.
You have to ask yourself, is Sony thinking about the person asking themselves, what console do I get?
Right.
And a lot of people would say, get the console with the best exclusives. There is reason to that. But the majority of people would say, get the console that your friends are playing.
Right.
That is one of the things that has kept Xbox afloat. But at the same time, you've got Sony now. If they're playing the sneaky route here, they might be working on canceling out that excuse. Now they could have the ability to give people no reason to buy an Xbox.
And see, that's my thing. When they took such a harsh stance against it, obviously they've always been this way, so I can understand a little bit. I'm real bad about being stuck in my ways and not wanting to change things.
Yeah.
But very much like you're saying, I mean, that's all Xbox has going for it right now, is that it allows for things that players want, as an attempt to stay on top. I don't know why, if you were on the top and it was possible to secede to some of these things, why wouldn't you? I mean, it's only gonna, like you say, completely cancel out what your competitor's doing. Even simple things like changing your PSN name. Xbox, you can do that within you have a certain token. I think it's a token you get that you can change your name once or something, and you can apply for another token if you need to. There's simple changes that Xbox doing. The accessibility controller, stuff like that. There's nothing for you to play on the system with this. There's some things to play, obviously, but the big exclusives are all at Sony right now. There's a certain threshold of you're not listening to your player base enough to where they are going to start hoping for the other guy to start winning.
There's there's a strategic play here for Sony either way.
Yeah.
Because if you open up cross-play to AAA games like Red Dead being the prime example, then you've got people who are in the market for a console having less reason to pick Xbox, or you're promoting them towards leaving Xbox to get a PlayStation. Because if I can still play with my Xbox people, why not get a PlayStation instead?
Yeah.
But on the other end, if they don't push forward with crossplay, it's them saying that they're kind of fighting a war of attrition in which they know they can outlive their opponent.
Right.
They know that they are a more sustainable force with the exclusives they've got, with the things that they offer, than Microsoft is. And so that's them basically saying to current Xbox owners, even if you keep your Xbox, you're buying a PlayStation.
Right, exactly.
So there's a play that they can do either way here. I'm just curious to see what their strategy is. And maybe I'm like, this is if we're assuming Sony is a cutthroat trying to stomp out the competition kind of company, which they're probably not. All they probably care about is being above the competition, not necessarily eliminating the competition.
Entirely, yeah. And that's true. That's true.
Yeah. And either way, they will continue with that until Microsoft gets their act together and starts making games that people care about. But I don't know. Either way, Sony has the advantage.
Yeah.
With or without crossplay, they have the advantage.
Right. Well, I'm real curious to see what this is going to mean for other games. You mentioned Red Dead Online. That's going to be interesting if that does get some sort of crossplay, or I mean, there's a multitude of multiplayer games, so it will be interesting to see if this progresses out. I feel like in a large way, once you open Pandora's box, you can't really close it. And that regardless of whether Sony is proactive in getting these games crossplay, I feel like fans of said games are going to start to cry for it. And now they know that, now they have something to point to and say, well, you did it for Fortnite. So they'll I would think we're going to see a lot more crossplay, which in my opinion can only lead to something good in the long haul. But I digress. We'll see how it goes. Let's talk about another crazy thing that happened this week that we weren't really expecting. I don't think, Steven, but Dark Phoenix. They had a new poster reveal this week and a trailer. I guess you really should call it a teaser.
I mean, it was a trailer.
A full trailer? Okay, all right.
It was lengthy enough to consider it a trailer. It didn't show us a whole lot.
Right.
Well, it was a trailer.
Okay. Well, the Dark Phoenix trailer dropped this week. So the reason, we talk about movies occasionally on here, and I'm not a big X-Men. I'm an X-Men fan. I'm not a big fan of where X-Men is right now and the current movies. But a few podcasts ago, probably a long couple podcasts ago, when we were talking about the Disney acquisition of Fox, and what this was going to mean for the current run of Fox movies, specifically stuff that was still waiting to come out. Dark Phoenix was one of the ones we really talked about, and New Mutants, was that the right one?
Yeah, New Mutants. Yeah.
We talked specifically about those two, and if I remember correctly, Steven, you and I basically left off with, maybe they'll just stop these and they'll cut their losses on these two. And
well, there was a rumor that was what they were doing.
Right. It was a grounded conclusion, but that was kind of where we landed on. So for me personally, I was really surprised to see this trailer this week. What did you think about it?
I'm biased.
You're probably a bigger X-Men fan than I am.
I love X-Men. X-Men is probably one of my favorite comic book premises of individuals with each of them having a specific power. I just think that's cool.
Right.
But I'm biased against it because I don't like Jean Grey as a character. Anna hates Jean Grey as a character. It's really funny. Even more of a dislike of Jean Grey is the girl that plays her portrayal of Jean Grey.
Sophia Turner, I believe.
Sophie Turner, I think, yeah. I have no qualms against her, but her portrayal in Apocalypse was awful. It was the most boring thing in an already bad film. Sorry. So
I haven't seen it, so I can't make any defending comments for my girl
Apocalypse
Sansa,
Apocalypse was bad. But we're not talking about Apocalypse. We're talking about its sequel, Dark Phoenix, which is centered around the worst part of Apocalypse. So she just is very robotic. I have a hard time caring about her or feeling that she can feel emotions. And just from this trailer, I only watched it once, and I watched it when I got out of bed this morning, so it's a little bit hazy. But it was like Xavier made her forget what she was or something.
Yeah.
It made it seem like they were making the Phoenix Force something within her, not an entity without her.
Right.
Which is a problem.
Yeah, because in the comics, it's a separate force that finds
It is a
Jean.
cosmic being. Yes, it chooses her. And so it feels like they're going more towards the Phoenix is within her, not finding her and becoming a part of her.
Right.
They have X-Men suits in this now.
They did.
They actually,
Jennifer Lawrence's character was in a full X-Men costume, and I was just like, "What? What is this?" It looked out of place.
They have suits now. Even though we saw them with suits at the end of Apocalypse, we're not seeing those. Whatever. But I don't know why Jennifer Lawrence is in this. Studio,
Jennifer Lawrence,
I guess.
Steven.
We don't need her.
But she's Jennifer Lawrence, Steven. Don't speak negatively about my girl J-Law.
Oh my gosh. I cannot stand J-Law.
Oh, Steven.
Different
We gotta move on.
discussion
we gotta move
for
on
a different
from this
day.
discussion because I'll get heated.
Okay. We're not talking about J-Law.
Okay.
It looked boring to me.
Right.
Because last I heard, Dark Phoenix was supposed to be like a cosmic tale. Like it was supposed to take place in space and stuff like that.
Right.
Partly. This just looks like a gritty X-Men film starring teenagers that takes place in Gotham City because it's dark and rainy all the time. Like that's just kind of the vibe I got from it. It didn't really show any of the other characters.
Right.
They showed Cyclops is there, Quicksilver's there, Nightcrawler, Storm. Didn't really hear anything from them because the trailer was very Jean-centric.
Right.
She goes to Magneto for help, ? So probably going to have Magneto as a villain again, even though he's buried the hatchet with Charles twice now.
Right, for real.
It just, I don't know. It feels, based on the trailer, based on what I've seen, it just feels like another forced entry in a dead iteration. You know?
Yeah. I'm sitting here thinking about it. Didn't X-Men 3 cover Dark Phoenix or just Phoenix?
Yep.
Wasn't that the whole?
That was the whole thing.
So this is basically kind of a poor remake.
Yeah, well, I mean, 3 was already a poor remake because it was just like, oh, Jean's mean now. Oh, Jean killed Cyclops.
Mean
okay.
Jean. That's what we call her.
Mean Jean. So my thing is like, we heard about reshoots. So if maybe they're just, burying the lead with the trailer and waiting to show us the cosmic stuff later. But I'm over here thinking, oh gosh, what if it had a lot of space stuff in it and then the reshoots were to completely ground the movie on Earth to get rid of the Phoenix's origin again? I don't know. But either way,
I hope the end
I'm going to see
of
it.
The movie is her just blowing everybody up and resetting the Earth or something so that they can just phase into the MCU. Like, let's just put a hard end on the current run of X-Men movies, and get them reset as fast as possible to push them in.
I just want them to wipe the slate clean with X-Men, bring them over to the MCU, which they are now.
Right.
But we get to keep James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender as Xavier and Magneto because they are
great,
flawless.
They do really well.
They're the best.
And I like Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique, so I don't know what
Go watch Apocalypse. Go watch Apocalypse, then get back to me. You will understand.
Okay. Whatever.
She did not try in that movie.
She's Jennifer Lawrence, dude. She doesn't have to try, okay?
That's a problem, Jake. That's a problem. That's why we have Destiny 2 the way it is right now.
Hey everybody, thanks you for watching this episode of ChortleCast. We do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, there's a few things you can do to help us out. Number one, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're already at ChortleGames.com, and we'd love it if you would like this video, share this video with your friends, and leave us a comment to let you know what your favorite topic was, what you thought about all the topics we talked about, yada, 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 all that good stuff. Also, if you're an audio listener, you're probably listening on iTunes, we'd love it if you'd leave us a review. That really helps the podcast be found by other fun video game loving folks. Video game loving and podcast loving folks, I guess would be a better term. You can also email us at chortlecast@gmail.com. Like I said at the top of the show, this is a show we want you to be a part of, so you can write in with news topics that you'd like to hear us talk about, any questions you might have about some stories you think we'll talk about, yada, 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 all that good stuff. You can also follow us on Facebook at Chortle Games, Twitter at Chortle Games, and you can join our Discord, which again, you can find the link to that Discord in the description of this video or on our channel banner at ChortleGames.com. Thanks for being on here, Steven. Good week.
Yep.
Good talking to you as always. This isn't the only thing we do here at Chortle Games. We have content 6 days a week. Sometimes we have an ungodly amount of content, like on Fridays. Fridays are crazy for us. So we do a lot on Fridays. We do podcasts at 12 o'clock Central Time every day, or every Friday. But also, usually right before this goes live, we do a live stream of Destiny 2 where we go see what Xur has to offer the good people who are playing Destiny 2 for that week. So you can always tune into that, see what's up there. Get checked in if you're not going to be able to play for a while. Then later that afternoon we do 2 live streams on Friday. This week I'm going to be doing some Watch Dogs 2 for the first stream on Friday, and then it's going to be me, Steven, and do we know who else is going to be in the division, Steven?
At least Jeremy.
So Friday we'll be playing Division, me, Steven, and Jeremy from 8-Bit Gamesters. So be sure to tune into that. We may have Brody, we may not.
Bro, we won't have Brody.
We won't have Brody
because I watched him trade it in.
Oh, okay, never mind. That's not happening. Yeah. He traded that in for Spider-Man, I assume.
He did.
Good choice.
Maybe Miles.
Maybe not, but a good choice either way. And then Saturdays we do 2 live streams as well. The plan for this Saturday is Steven is going to be doing either Titanfall 2 or Final Fantasy 15, which you talked about at the top of the show. He's loving. If you have an opinion on which one you'd rather see Saturday, leave us a comment in this video or tweet us or Facebook us, however you want to get in touch with us. We'll see it. And let us know which game you'd prefer to see. And then, of course, the second stream for Saturday will be me and Steven playing some Far Cry Arcade, playing fan-made maps. So if you have a map that you made in Far Cry, we don't care how dumb it is, we don't care how good it is, we're going to play it if you send it to us. So let us know what your creator name is. Let us know the name of the map.
We care a little bit. We will play it, but we do care.
I don't care. I don't care at all. I don't care if all it is as long as you give me a bow and a shovel, I'll be happy. That's all I ask in an arcade level. So, but anyway, yeah, tune in for that. We usually do some PvP maps at the end of that. We have a tradition now where we play this game called Shovel Dodgers. A couple of our subs have made different versions of the game, so we typically play one of those. So if you're watching that live stream, have the game, we'll put in a private code to come jump in a game with us. So you'll want to do that. It's a lot of fun. Then October, Steven, starts next week. Spooky
Oh, man.
skeletons, baby. I'm so excited. I love Halloween, one of my favorite times of the year. Me and Steven are going to be going to Disney for Mickey's Not So Spooky Halloween party with our ladies. It's going to be great. We've talked a little bit about that on the podcast or live streams and such. So anyway, if you have been with the channel for a long time, in years past we've gone all out for October. We are still going all out, but just a little bit differently this year. What we used to do was we used to have a Let's Play every day of the week, all the way through till Halloween. We are not going to be doing that quite as intensely this year. A couple reasons. The main reason is there's a lot of big games that are coming out in October, like Assassin's Creed and Super Mario Party and Red Dead Redemption. And if we made every Let's Play spooky, we wouldn't have the time to get to give those games some time. So we're gonna be doing it a little bit differently this year. So we will have spooky Let's Plays. We will be live streaming spooky games and more scary games. We'll still probably do Destiny on Tuesdays, but I know Steven is going to be doing a lot of Metro. What are some of the other games you were going to try to stream, Steven?
Let me look. I do this like every stream.
I'm planning on streaming Until Dawn as a solo Jake thing on Friday. As probably the first slot on Friday. But anyway.
So we have Metro. I'm going to be playing those games to completion. If I get mine back from Brody, he still has my copy, and if I don't get it back by Monday, I'm going to just buy it digitally, because I might do a stream on Monday just to like call it Metro Monday.
Metro Monday, yeah.
Because that's October 1st, right?
That's October 1st.
Yeah. If I got nothing else going on, we'll have a stream to kick off the month, so I can get ahead of the curve a little bit with Metro, because that's going to be a lot of game to cover. Yeah. We have Dying Light. Jake, I don't know if you ended up picking it up, but I will probably be playing some more Dying Light this month.
You know what? I'll try and pick it up, and we'll be able to do a little bit of that. We're probably going to play some Dead by Daylight with Friendly Fire Games. I don't want to get too into the weeds about what we'll play, but we're going to be doing a lot of still spooky content this month. So if you liked that last year, we're going to have a lot of that this year. If you have a spooky game that you'd like to see us live stream or maybe do a Let's Play of, let me know in the Discord or in the comments of this video. But for Monday, we're kicking off strong, or maybe not strong, I don't know, with Hello Neighbor, which is a game that has recently come recently come to consoles. I don't know if it classifies as spooky. It's creepy. It definitely has a little bit of jump scares. I think I screamed at a box or something. So there's a lot of fun there. Steven and I play a little bit of that. And then Wednesday is going to be Little Nightmares. Now, last year we played through all of the base Little Nightmares game. And then we also did the first DLC that came out for that game. Since last October, 2 more DLCs have come out for that. So Steve and I played the first one. We're going to be playing the last one later in the month. But the first one of those is going to happen this Wednesday. So if you haven't seen the rest of what me and Brody played with that series, highly encourage you to go back and watch that from last October. It's a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with it. It's a really, really cool, really, really creepy game that we enjoyed a lot. And then, of course, Tuesdays, I skipped right over Tuesdays. Tuesdays we'll still be playing Destiny. We'll be doing Team Up Tuesday there. On Thursday, Steven does a little podcast, or a little live stream called Phantom Doctrine. But Steven, I assume that's going to take a break since you're going to be doing spooky stuff.
It's going to need to, probably. So this past last night, for those watching this, that might have been our last Phantom Doctrine for a while.
Yeah, for at least a month.
Because I'm gonna need to be playing Metro every time that I've got the opportunity to play solo. Because it's 2 games.
So it'll be a spooky live stream with Steven, though, on Thursday nights. And then, of course, like I said, Friday we'll be back with another podcast, another Zur live stream. And then we'll be doing spooky live streams, 2 spooky live streams on Friday, 2 spooky live streams on Saturday. So a lot of good stuff, a lot of stuff to look forward to. Thank you for being a part. Thank you for listening to this episode. We look forward to continuing to do stuff, and we hope you'll stick around to do it with us. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.